Saturday, February 20th, 2021. Well, I did accept the offer of changing my schedule temporarily. We'll try it out. So instead of working my usual 5 to 1:30s, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and 4 to 12:30s, Tuesday and Wednesday, I think the idea is just to make them all 1 in the morning to 9:30 in the morning. That way I have like time to myself without customers being there to do what I need to get done without distractions and people being in the way, me being in the way, obstacles being in the way, just noise, and even other employees too. You know, some of the employees are the worst. They want to spend as much time not working as they can possibly get away with. You know, it's like you almost have to be watching them for them to want to work. It's like, oh man, people are watching, I better work. It's like, well, I'm glad I only have to worry about myself. Anyway, so for me, it'll be a little bit of getting used to a shift in the schedule, but 3 hours shifted. Really, that's all it is. 3 hours shifted earlier on Tuesdays and Wednesdays because I'm already there at 4. And then 4 hours shifted on Friday, Saturday, Sunday because I'm already there at 5. So it's really not that big of a difference in life. Not really. I mean, I'm just, I was already, very, very askew and, syncopated to the rest of other people. But I don't want to be on their schedule anyway, because I'm coming and going at the same time as them. I'm sleeping at the same time as them. That just sets me up for to have to interact with them. It's like, no, that's not what I want. So being out of phase with other people, that's bonus. It doesn't, because a lot of people would see that as, oh, that's dangerous. That's that's giving yourself all this time and to be by yourself and do things that you probably shouldn't be doing. And in recovery circles, yeah, for a lot of people, if not almost everybody, that is a bad thing. But I am not most people. And it doesn't mean that I'm special, and it doesn't mean that I'm unique. It just means that for me, it's like, well, it's either, well, I guess I could die. I guess I could choose death. I can't unchoose. Because once I choose, no, it's just easier just to live, because undying is very difficult. Coming back to life. I don't even know. It was a whole thing. And, oh. So, anyway, yeah, I'm not really that worried about it. If I ever chose to go back to drinking like how I used to, then, it's just, I'm just already done anyway. I would have given up on this by now. I would have given up on writing by now. I would have disappeared from here by now. I would have disappeared from everywhere by now. I just would never be seen again. Not by choice. And it would just, and I don't even know what I look like. I don't even know, I would probably never look at myself in a mirror ever again. Just the transformation would be, probably pretty scary. I'm glad there's, no, I really don't think I could take it, seeing what that physical transformation was. Oh man, like there's no photography of how I used to look. I didn't take pictures. I didn't record anything. There's no memory. The only history of it is up here and the few people I interacted with, and those few people are up in Wisconsin, and and people even back in West Virginia, they didn't see any of the worst of it. They saw the they saw like the I don't know what you'd call it, the heyday, the glory years, the best of my alcoholic career. Some not so proud moments and embarrassing stories, I guess. That mostly I wasn't around most people for them, so most people have no memory of them. But I don't know. I don't even know why I'm talking about that. Anyway, but my change in schedule goes into effect immediately, starting the schedule after this next schedule. So, that's a joke. Goes into effect immediately, as soon as the schedule after the next schedule. I'm working on it. Humor. No, okay. I'll work on it more. Well, I'll stop trying so hard. That's the thing. And it is funny. Last night, one of the guys that I was at IOP with, intensive outpatient program. It was directly after. In the last, got started while I was still inpatient and transitioning it to outpatient. But he was part of my inpatient. How's it? The outpatient program, IOP, intensive outpatient. Yeah. And his name's well, he's a Steve. There's lots of Steves. Steve is pretty anonymous. Yeah. So, and for a good while, he, a couple of months after IOP ended, he would still show up at meetings every so often, and then eventually just kind of like once every few months, and then I'd see him at the store maybe once every couple of months, and he'd stop by and say hi, and then probably for about the past 2 years, eventually I just never saw him. I didn't even notice. Honestly, I'd just completely forgotten about him, ever existing. Never left an impression. Never was just, nothing significant enough that would, warrant me remembering him and wondering what happened to him. He was just not that interesting of a person. Very typical, what you consider a classic human stereotype for this area, central Midwest. Nothing really stood out about him. Not that I ever noticed or picked up on. Anyway, he was there last night. He still looked like himself, but something brought him back. So I can only guess that and he was in an extremely jokey mood, just very, he had a buddy there, and they were, whispering and chatting, to each other, all before the meeting, and then during the meeting, while other people were talking, pouring their hearts out, they were just kind of whispering and, gossiping, and who knows what they were talking about. But I was trying not to listen because it was very distracting and disrespectful. At least that was my thought. I even thought about just standing up, and towering over them in their seated position. Be like, do you have something you'd like to talk about, or would you prefer to take it outside into the hallway because you're disrupting the rest of us? We're here for a meeting. But I don't know these people. They might take that as an aggressive thing, and I'm not an aggressive person. I use my words, but my words can get me in trouble, so I decided to just honest. People tend to get out of it exactly what they put into it. So if they're just there to, who knows? They are going to get what they are working towards. I don't have to give it to them. They'll get it on their own. So if they want, anyway, that whole thing. And I guess the other thing I wanted to talk about was dang it. I almost have to believe that there's nothing, absolutely nothing going on. And just whatever I think is just, my imagination. And I'd like to believe there's something going on, but there isn't. And there isn't anything even, as far as I can tell, wanted. Because I'd like to think that, it's just really awkward, and it's really, she's just, it's nervous and afraid, and, not enough energy, not enough spoons. But no, I think it's just more about, just they are enjoying being alone, and they really don't have the energy or inclination or desire or motivation to even text. So I've developed these feelings and attachments for somebody I've never even spoken to. Again. How many times is this? It's like this number 3. And it just, it hurts like this every time. And I know what happens too. So it's like, no, I don't want that to happen this time. So I'll just play it by ear. Just put stuff out there and let them determine the cordiality, the protocol, the diplomacy. If they don't want to text, I won't text. I guess the best clue is when I sent stuff and they never sent anything back. Yeah. It's not like I said anything weird. They just don't have the energy for texting. God forbid. No, there's no such thing as a phone call. That doesn't exist. Or a video call? No. That doesn't exist. Not even an email, really. But emails are the same as text anyway. So I have a solid, non-texting, acknowledgement-based, non-friendship acquaintance who I don't talk to. And there is no communication back and forth, really. Yeah, that's not much of a foundation for any sort of anything. There is no dialogue, there is no communication, there is no conversation. And there is, at least on my end, there's no understanding. I am just guessing all over the place, and it is just wild. So if I accidentally hit on anything that is even remotely relevant, that's her doing the equivalent of what I do. Reading into things more than what's actually there. Except for in my case, a lot of times it's true. Because, a lot of the things that I put out there, they are motivated by, I want to show her things. And I also, a lot of things I write, they might not directly be for her, but they are, because I don't want to exactly always be writing for her, or to her, but I know that she's, part of the, she might be reading, or it's a possibility at least. So, I don't know. I like knowing that she's there, and that there's a remote chance that she looks at some of my stuff and likes it, and maybe it gives her some ideas for what she's working on. My thing is, it's like I don't want to pollute or corrupt her way of doing things, her natural style. So I think, if she can have influence over my writing style, and what I'm thinking about, also what she's showing. And I don't think I'm anywhere on the radar as far as like stuff that she's looking at and picking up on and showing and then writing about. I'm just a collateral bystander. She knows that I look at her stuff, but I'm not part of the motivation. There's nothing about like, oh, Eric might like this, or Eric, he might want to see this or be interested in this, or at least I hope he'd be interested in this or something. No, I'm just a casual bystander, an observer, and whatever I get out of it, it's up to me to get out of it. It's not intended for me. So at least it doesn't. I can read into it, but trying not to. And there's nothing to back it up by like anything personalized. There's no question about like, hey, what'd you think of? There's nothing to follow individualized that there's any interest in me or my thoughts or my attitude or where I'm at, how I am, what's going on in my life, am I okay? No, there's nothing. So if I perceive that there's something going on, then that's me, all me. But I still try to, make patterns and form conclusions and see things that aren't there to, make myself feel included, somehow remembered, somehow appreciated, somehow valued, of some importance, not, mattering. So, like after, today I noticed, a couple of my writings, just she left an acknowledgement of, the basic human response of a thumbs up. Yeah, which is that is the reduction of our entire communication relationship has been reduced to thumbs up on whatever posts. Not really, I don't really feel, particularly allowed or have permission to write in detail. Like, not welcome. It'd be intrusive. It'd be a pest. So, I don't. Whatever permission, whatever welcome I felt is gone. It has expired. It has not been reinitialized. It almost did, but then went silent again for 5 days now, 6 days. So, with no goodbye, no. And that's what I would do too. I don't explain myself. I just do things, and I've said that too. That this is what I do. So maybe she took that as literally, which I would do too. I would just, so I'm not going to tell anybody what I'm about to do. I'm just going to do it. If they have a problem with it, well, they have a problem with it. Because if I tell them ahead of time, they're just going to try to convince me that I'm wrong, or try to convince me not to do it, or whatever. So it doesn't interest me or behoove me in any way to try to explain it, because so it's just easier for me to just do it. So maybe that's what she's doing. In which case, good job. But today, after I saw that little bit, it's like good. But I'm glad she's reading, because there were some good things. I like it. And one tied into the other, and she read them both. And she left a little, leaf, So I appreciate that little touch. Because really, she really cannot comment either on my stuff. Hardly. She has permission. I just don't know if she knows she has permission. And even then, it's like, does she have permission? I don't know. She might. I don't know if she has the context anymore to even have permission, or she would have any, good perspective. I mean, she'd have perspective, but she doesn't have the full story that goes, you know, anyway. There hasn't been continuity to lend itself to it, where she would have the ability to have more detail to understand what's going on in the background, the context of everything else that is feeding into that story that's been written. But anyway, I still appreciated the little bit of attention and the little bit of awareness and sentimentality and sensitivity, that she's still there and she still remembers me. So when I was leaving work today, I did check to see if she had even read what was on Messenger for her from 6 days ago, and still has not read it. And there were some good comments too. Whatever, comments, they're expired by now. It's like they were relevant at the time. Now it's just, what was even going on? What was it? I don't know. But so I guess that way of communication is kind of dead right now. Might never come back. I don't know. But I did take some pictures of some spring flowers at the store. It's February 20th, but we have a spring flower display. Tulips. I didn't see any daffodils yet, but they're mostly tulips, bulbs, and so that was kind of cool. And they're very colorful, lots of nice colors, and but I did take a bunch of pictures, 7, a bunch. And I posted those. I used to would have sent them directly to her attention, because they were for her to look at. Just something to look at. There's no, just here's something to look at. They're pretty. Better than looking at all the gray all the time. And, but her scenery is a lot nicer than my scenery, I think so. Anyway. But now it's like I've just, again, been reduced. And now I'll just post anything that I would have used to have wanted to show to just her. And I'll show it to everybody. All of my followers. All of them. And so, I mean, they can see. It doesn't matter. So, I didn't used to post flowers there. But now I post flowers there. Same with sunrises and sunsets. And other things too, the poetry and stuff. So, of course, I've always been doing the writing there. That's the main point of the whole thing. But now it kind of lends itself into sometimes poetry. If you can call it that. I don't really call it that. I just write whatever it is I'm thinking about. So, excuse me. I need to get something to drink. And then, a couple hours later, I saw, is it coincidence? Probably. Well, it probably doesn't have anything to do with coincidence it's just happen around the same time. One does not tie into the other, and if it does, it's just a casual, But I like to dream. I like to fancy myself relationship worthy, and I am. It's me being usually the one that's standoffish, because I am just standoffish with everybody. I've got this whole thing going on, and I don't know. It's like, So, yeah. Other than that, besides my whole way of being and thinking and how I operate, just everything else is like, you know, in a sense, I'm completely normal, except for, you know, everything that's a little different. But from the outside, if I do move a little bit different, so, um, but I look normal, you know, I don't look autistic. So, even though I kind of see it sometimes, but it's only when I'm moving. And other things too, but it might just be because I'm really, really hyper-focused and kind of tuned into it now, where I'm looking for things. Picking up on qualities and seeing it in other people and then seeing it myself and recognizing myself in other people that have, also been diagnosed. Because it probably would help if I had remembered me being diagnosed, because I was there for it, but I was not there for it. So it didn't really sink in, I guess. So anyway, I guess I have a meeting to go to. Yay! I don't have to go, of course, but I'll go to the show, perform, do what I do, see what's going on. It's really depressing for me, just because a lot of the people in there, they're not going to have happy endings. It just won't happen. And a lot of people in the room tonight, or a year from now, it will not have turned out well. Guaranteed. I don't know who. And if I knew, could I do anything? Nope. And the same goes the other way. The ones that are going to make it, or have like a continuation or a chance, just like I have, a year from now, they will be better off than they are right now. I don't know who they are either. So that's the hope, I guess, is that I don't know who is going to get it, who isn't going to get it, who wants it, who doesn't want it, who's there for show, who's there for real. And since I don't know, I just go and do what I do. And whatever it is I say, or whatever it is I do, or however it is I am, and I present myself, it helps the right person. It reaches the right person. And that's all I can do. And that has to be enough. I cannot force feed or get this for anybody, just like I can't do this for anybody. And I literally cannot help them or save them. They have to help themselves or save themselves or want to help themselves or want to save themselves. Because if they don't want it, they won't get it. And that brings me to like wanting what other people have, They shouldn't, they should want what's there for them, But anyway, this is the whole thing, and it's like already approaching half an hour, and I should probably go. And I do have more to say, obviously, but running out of time. I'd make more, but guys, another place where they don't run on my schedule. So if it's just me, I can make time. But when I have to deal with the outside world, I have to meet them halfway or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, I gotta go. Okay. Bye.